Let me ask you to imagine something. Monday morning, you go into work, you open up your laptop, and before you even touch your keyboard, an artificial intelligence system has already summarized your emails, drafted your reports, analyzed your performance metrics, and predicted the decisions you're most likely to make today. It even suggests how you should respond to your colleagues, and does all of this in less than 3 seconds. So now here's a question. If technology can do so much of what we can do, what exactly is left for us? I'm a leadership and an organizational culture researcher and consultant, but I'm also a husband, a father of 4, and someone that believes that organizations should leave people better than when they found them. I've experienced perhaps the best and the worst inside of organizations, but it's still nothing like what my adult children are facing. Leaders, you have the opportunity and the responsibility to show up for the people that count on you. We are living through one of the fastest technological revolutions in human history. Artificial intelligence in all its varieties is transforming how organizations operate. Companies can process more data, analyze more metrics, automate more decisions, move faster than ever before. And on the surface, this sounds like progress. But underneath all this innovation, something quieter is happening. Across industries, we're seeing rising burnout, declining engagement, and a growing erosion of trust. In fact, a recent study by Gallup found that only 21% of employees worldwide say that they are engaged at work, meaning 4 out of 5 people are psychologically disconnected from what they do every single day. Millions of employees are asking the question, does anyone actually see me here? A few years ago, after a workshop I was conducting, a woman pulled me aside. She was one of the company's top performers, always hit her numbers, always reliable. From the outside, she looked like the kind of employee that every organization wants. But she said something that stopped me. She said, "Bryan, I'm tired. Not physically tired, emotionally tired." Okay, I asked her why. She said, "I don't think anyone here actually knows me. I do the work, I hit the numbers, but nobody asks me what I think or what I care about." And then she said something that has stayed with me ever since. She said, "It feels as if the system values what I produce, but not who I am." That moment revealed something important about the modern workplace, because when people stop feeling seen, they don't just disengage, they disappear. The irony of our moment is this: we have more technology designed to connect us than in any other time in history, and yet people feel more disconnected at work than ever before. Leaders, you have the opportunity and the responsibility to add value to those on your team. After the pandemic, something shifted in the workplace. People didn't just reevaluate their jobs, they reevaluated their lives. Employees began asking deeper questions. Does my work matter? Do the people I work with care about me? Am I valued, or am I simply a resource? Organizations responded the only way that they knew how. They measured more. More dashboards, more productivity, more analytics. But here's the problem. You can't spreadsheet your way to human meaning. Now, for anyone concerned, I'm not talking about a need to lower standards or removing meritocracy. Rather, there's more that is required of us as leaders in the value that we provide. Also, I'd say it's a little too easy to suggest that the younger generations entering the workforce are less resilient. Yes, boomers and Gen X and millennials and Gen Z do in fact have different expectations. Yet, especially post-pandemic, each of these groups have come to realize that the traditional relationship of trading hours for dollars is limited, and this shows in the declining engagement. See, over time, I began noticing something across organizations. I call it the invisible workplace. People show up, they perform, but internally, they've already left. This is where people do their jobs, they hit the numbers, they attend the meetings, but inside they've disengaged. Not because they hate the work, but because they no longer feel human at work. And when that happens, something profound changes. People stop sharing ideas. They stop taking risks. They stop caring about outcomes. Eventually, they stop staying. Some might call this quiet quitting, but it's actually deeper than that. Let me share another moment that shapes how I look at this leadership interaction in the workplace. I was in an office for a consulting engagement, and a senior leader walked through the room, moved quickly, focused, efficient, head down. He was a good leader by the traditional standards, delivered results, met every target. But I noticed something. When he walked through the room, people stopped talking. They stopped laughing. They just stared at their screens because he didn't look up long enough to notice them. Later, I asked someone on the team what this felt like and what was going on, and she said something incredibly simple. She said, speaking of that leader, it feels as if we work around him, not with him. And that's when it hit me. Sometimes organizations don't collapse because of bad leadership. Sometimes they collapse because of absent humanity, which brings us to artificial intelligence. Because the real danger of AI isn't what most people think, and we're already seeing early signals of this. A recent workplace survey showed that 84% of employees that regularly use AI tools reported increased feelings of loneliness or decreased human connection at work, suggesting that while technology may improve productivity, it may also unintentionally weaken relationships if leaders aren't intentional. The real danger of AI is not machines acting like humans. It's humans acting like machines. Technology is extraordinary. AI will transform how we work. But if leaders aren't intentional, technology will amplify the worst instincts we already have. Over-optimization, command and control leadership, reducing people to metrics. Organizations will become incredibly efficient at reducing people and helping them feel invisible. So we need to rethink leadership responsibility in the age of AI. Leadership's not about controlling people. Leadership is about stewarding humanity. And the research consistently shows that leadership matters. Gallup found that leaders account for roughly 70% of the variance in employee engagement on teams, meaning an individual's experience at work is shaped more by their leader than almost anything else in the organization, including compensation. The future of work will not be determined by who has the best algorithms. It'll be determined by who builds the most human cultures. Artificial intelligence can outperform humans in many ways: data processing, pattern recognition, predictive analysis. But there are three things that AI cannot replace, and these will become the most valuable leadership skills of the future. First one, presence. In an age of automated communication, perhaps the rarest leadership behavior is simply being fully present with another human being. Listening, paying attention, making them to feel that in that moment that they matter. You would be amazed at the number of organizational and societal challenges that disappear when people feel genuinely heard. 2, moral courage. AI can optimize decisions, but it cannot determine what is right. Ethical leadership requires moral courage. The courage to choose integrity over convenience, to prioritize people over power, and to hold ourselves accountable to the standards that we expect from others. And 3, meaning. This is perhaps the most important. People do not dedicate their lives to spreadsheets. They dedicate their lives to purpose. Great leaders help people see how their work contributes to something larger than themselves. Because when people feel that their work matters, extraordinary things happen.
Innovation increases, collaboration strengthens, organizations flourish, not in spite of people, but through them. We want the best output from our teams, and we have the opportunity to help them do this through an on-purpose effort.
Early in my higher education journey, I studied music theory extensively. There's a principle called Tartini tones, also called combination tones. In this principle, when 2 or more notes are played together, perfectly in tune, that these vibrations interact and create additional sounds that are not being played or sung, but we can hear them and they're additive to the whole sound. Now imagine this in your professional environment. Imagine where teams have both the expectation and the coaching to collaborate. And I mean truly collaborate. Each individual perfectly in tune and focused on the shared outcome. And as each individual contributes, new and innovative direction and novel solutions come alive that never would have existed had any one person been otherwise disengaged or not present in the moment. How would your organization thrive on the multiplying effects of leaders and workers actively engaging creating value rather than being bogged down in the minutia of data and analytics reporting? So the real question isn't whether or not AI will change work. It already has. The real question is this: will we allow technology to make work less human, or will we use it to make the most human workplaces in history? Imagine organizations where AI handles repetitive tasks, freeing leaders to focus on mentorship, creativity, and connection, where data informs decisions, but humanity guides them. Because the organizations that succeed in the age of AI will not be the ones with the best algorithms. They will be the ones that remember how to lead humans. Let me close with this. The most valuable skill in the age of AI is not technical expertise and is not strategic brilliance. It's something far simpler, yet far more powerful. The ability to help another human being feel seen. Feel seen for their ideas, feel seen for their efforts, feel seen for their potential. Because when people feel seen, they become courageous, they become creative, and they become committed. And when organizations create cultures where people feel seen, they become unstoppable. Leaders, you have the opportunity and the responsibility to be the reason that someone feels seen today. Artificial intelligence may shape the future of work, but the future of humanity at work is still in our hands. Thank you.